If you drive through the rural American West today, you might stumble across a yellow warning sign like this. It tells you to keep your distance from the prairie dogs because they carry the plague. The pathogen hiding in those wild rodent populations is a microscopic bacterium known as Yersinia pestis. Today, an infection from this bacteria is a highly treatable condition. A standard course of modern antibiotics will clear it right up. But for 1,500 years, humanity had no medicine, no cure, and absolutely no idea what was killing them. Without a way to fight back, this single microorganism moved far beyond localized outbreaks. It drove 3 massive global pandemics that devastated human populations and collapsed entire empires. The first major wave hit in 541 AD, striking the Byzantine Empire under the rule of Emperor Justinian I. The outbreak exploded from Egypt, aggressively sweeping through the Mediterranean. This chart shows the absolute death toll. Over 2 centuries, casualties climbed to 50 million. Compared to the global population of the era, the bacteria wiped out roughly half of all human beings alive. Justinian had been campaigning to reunite the fractured Roman Empire. The sheer demographic collapse brought his armies to a standstill and permanently ended that dream. 800 years later, in 1346, the plague returned as the infamous Black Death, causing a massive population die-off throughout the 1350s. The pathogen didn't vanish after that initial wave passed. It became endemic, establishing a permanent baseline presence within the human population. The bacteria adapted to life alongside human civilization. For over 400 years, it lashed out in violent, localized waves every few decades. Entire generations lived and died during these recurrences, which included massive outbreaks like the Great Plague of Seville in 1647 and the Great Plague of London in 1665. People spent their entire lives knowing an unstoppable killer could return to their city in any given decade. This constant looming threat created a persistent generational terror that defined everyday life. The final major pandemic started in 1855, emerging from Yunnan, China. This time, human progress inadvertently aided the killer. Modern trade networks and coal-powered steamships carried the disease across oceans faster than ever before. Over 12 million people died in this third wave. The vast majority of those casualties were concentrated in India. But in 1894, modern science finally caught up. Researchers successfully isolated the Yersinia pestis bacteria. More importantly, they pinpointed the exact vector carrying it to humans, specifically fleas riding on rats. By identifying the bacteria and the fleas, humanity went from helpless targets to active fighters. With the transmission chain finally mapped out, doctors could systematically dismantle the disease's path to human hosts. Even with global scientific efforts, the plague was never completely eradicated. Isolated outbreaks still pop up in places like Madagascar and the Democratic Republic of Congo. The organism causing these modern infections is the exact same bacterium that wiped out the Byzantine Empire. It hasn't weakened over the centuries. Yet those apocalyptic die-offs of 50 million people are a thing of the past. Today, an infection is a highly manageable medical anomaly. We didn't defeat history's greatest serial killer through a biological accident. We stopped it through the steady accumulation of human knowledge, culminating in the invention of simple antibiotics.